Hello everyone, Sire here. Thank you so much for joining me. This is my 10 cards created with the Spellbinders Card Kit, and this is the July 2021 kit. I am a little late on this one just because the card kit didn't arrive until pretty much the last day of the month of July. So I did not get the kit until it was almost the last day of the month of July. But I finally got around to creating these cards, and I really hope you enjoy them. The kit is called Damask Daydream, and it was a lot of fun to work with. This kit did come with a lot of nice pattern papers and die cuts to play with, and then of course the metal dies were real fun to work with as well. I didn't get a chance to play with the glitter stickers too much, or the stamp set, but there is a lot left over in this kit, as always, so even though I did create the 10 cards, I will definitely have enough to create a lot more cards after this, so I'm not too worried. So to not wait any longer, I will start working with card number 1, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. For card number 1, I picked out the almost Japanese-inspired pattern paper. It's pink with a bunch of animals, flowers, and such on it. When it comes to the first card of any kit that has pattern paper, I tend to pick the one that I like the most and work from there. And this is the one. I just absolutely love that pink pattern paper. It's just something about it. And then you'll also notice that there is a hole in the middle of my pink cardstock. And the reason for that is I've noticed that when I'm working on these card kits, I tend to sometimes run out of the cardstock, and it's because I do use a lot of it, but it really depends on the kit. So I decided to be proactive this time and just cut out the centers of my mats in case that I want to use it. So that's pretty much it. And then of course, then you fill it in with some scrap paper, and that scrap paper is just something I have on hand. I never use it, so that's what I just cut up and put in the center there so that the pattern paper doesn't sag in the center. So now this pattern paper is just so gorgeous. I don't know what it is about it, but especially with the pink mat, it really makes it pop, and it's just really beautiful. For the little accent piece, I did take a piece of, this is not the gold cardstock from the kit, this is just some scraps that I had laying around, and I added it just underneath to create a little border of separation between the two pattern papers. These are definitely the two of my favorite in this pattern paper bundle. Next, I'm just going to take a few of these ephemera pieces and just create a mini collage. Putting this kit actually had a lot of tickets in it, so pretty much every card has a ticket, and this card being no exception. What I do is I just try to find the one that matches the same color as the pattern paper or complements the pattern paper as much as possible. It is one thing I do love about Spellbinders card kits is the ephemera pieces. It really is fun just to layer and stack them up and just create something unique. Something about it is just really, it's really relaxing for me. And it really gets my brain thinking on how I want to layer all these pieces down and see what I can create. To finish off, I'm going to add some of these gems. I really like these gems, except the large ones are a tad large for me. I'm not sure what I would use them for. They just seem to be too large, but you never know. There could be a card one day that I need really large gems. And then I will take some little circles. I use my hole punch to create two sizes out of the same cardstock that was in my stash. And then I just lay them around, kind of following the collage, so it looks like it's just around that collage. I just like how this looks. It just seems to be something I am drawn to right now. And that is card number 1. For card number 2, I decided to take this strip piece and rip it. Not something I do very often, but I saw someone on YouTube, I think it was like an older video, and they were talking about how to rip pattern paper and use it. So I just got inspired and went and tried it out. The base is going to be using my second favorite piece of pattern paper, and I'm just going to center that with, I believe the size is probably 4 by 5.25. That seems to be my go-to mat size. And I'm just going to do something a little different this time. I'm going to put my scrap piece. This is the center of my previous card. So there you go. I was able to use it, and it did create some inspiration for me. I find that if you put your pieces in front of you while you're making your cards, it does create some inspiration and ideas. It sparks your imagination. Put a little bit of double-sided tape on that torn piece, and I'm just going to put it near the bottom. I'm going to cover pretty much the whole top with ephemera, and I just want that ripped bottom and a little bit of the pink to show. In this card kit, there were some really beautiful flower or die cuts or ephemera, so I'm going to use those. They do tie well with the cardstock, the pink cardstock, and the pattern paper. The nice thing about this pattern paper in the background, it has all the colors that are in the ephemera, so you could technically use any of the ephemera and it would match this paper very well. You would just change the pink cardstock to whichever one you wanted. I'm just going to glue these down and just making sure that I have both edges covered a bit so they're hanging over. I do like when ephemera hangs over edges. It just creates a different, what do you call it? A different, not definition, but it just creates different. It creates different. I don't know what the word is I'm thinking of, so let's just keep moving on. I really like that beautiful sentiment in the center, so I'm just going to put some leaves and then the flowers behind it, and then prop that whole sentiment up. I don't need to add any mat to it because it already has a golden frame attached to it. Then I'm going to take the second sentiment and I'm going to put it on the bottom. It says, "This makes me happy." And it just looks so cute. I will add some squares just to prop that up, but I don't know, something about that. I think it ties really well with the green leaves, and these strips just sometimes work. That's why I like them in these card kits, because you just never know. And it just was centered perfectly. It just went really well, at least for me. I really like how that little sentiment added something to this card. And then I'm just going to add this little golden dragonfly right to the little top there. Just add a little bit more gold and something different. To finish off, I am going to add some more of these gold dots. This is scraps from the card kit. So I believe they are. Sorry, I'm like, you can't see me, but I'm like squinting. I have this little small camera and I'm squinting to see if that is the cardstock from the kit or if it was my scrap, but I think it is. It seems shinier than the other one, so let's go with this is the circles from the card kit. I just used my hole punch and cut 2 sizes. Like I said, this is my go-to right now, especially for the Spellbinders card kits. I don't know what it is. It's just, I just really like doing it. And that's card number 2. But that's because I also don't like to waste, especially waste that gold cardstock. So I try to use as much as possible. And instead of using enamel dots, you could just use these. I do have glossy accents, so technically you could add glossy accents to make them look like enamel dots, but I didn't in any of my cards. I did put this on wrong. I meant to put those gold strips underneath that pattern paper in the center, but I forgot. I got carried away. So they're not. I'm going to put them aside, and those strips are from my stash. So you'll see them disappear in a few minutes. For this card, I am making kind of a carousel. I'm determined to get those on there. I'm making a carousel card, but I didn't want to use two of my horses. So what I'm going to do is just put it on the edge and then glue the other half on the other side of the card as if it's going around in a circle, just as a carousel does. And I just want to make sure that it's lined up, so following the grid on my mat, I'm just going to make sure that the body is lined up with the other side. This card is actually very simple. I'm letting the card base be it shown, which is nice because it does have a linen texture to it. And so all I'm going to do is just focus on some of the greener pieces of ephemera and add them to the card and just focus on the center there. So the circle says notes, and then there's a spot in the center to put a sentiment. So I picked up one of these other ones that says, "It's your day to shine." Is it the right sentiment? I don't know. There is no sun, there is nothing, but I just like how it matched the colors. It really doesn't matter. They're just for fun. And then I'll just put some of those little dots on there, or crystals, and that's card number 3, sorry. For card number 4, I love that couch ephemera. I had no clue how I was going to use it other than what I'm going to be doing. When it comes to pieces like this, there's only one idea I can think of, and that's making a living room scene. My imagination doesn't go any further than that. So what I do is I start looking for pieces that will make a floor and a ceiling, or a floor and a wall. When it comes to the wall, I always look for pattern papers that look like wallpaper. In this case, it's that green pattern that I have already glued down. For the floor, I found one of the pattern papers had stripes on it, and so I cut it down and took the green piece and left a strip of white on it, and then I glued some gold cardstock underneath it. Once again, that is for my stash. Just like the gold cardstock you're looking at right now, that is for my stash. And I'm going to mat some stamps. So that's pretty much what happens is you have the floor, and then you need to put some pictures, quote unquote, on the wall. And these stamps look really cute. They look like funky art that would be somewhere in a room where you would see a pink couch like this. And so I'm just going to make sure that they're kind of lined up with that green sentiment on the left-hand side. These pieces just look really smart. I think they just look like little antique pictures that are hanging on a wall. And I could imagine a room with that couch and this funky wall art and wallpaper. I just really like it. But that's, like I said, this is what I do when I have a piece like this. As I was putting this together, I had a piece of scrap and I put it underneath the couch. I don't know why, I just did. Something told me do it. And so I said, hey, what would happen if I just cut more of these little skinny pieces and try to put them around the floor? And that's what I'm doing now. And then it kind of made me feel like the floor wasn't so flat. It actually had some, I don't know if you would call it tile or just separation, lines on a floor, wood grain, I don't know. But that's what it started to look like. And so I just said, hey, let's do it. Let's just add that. The more you look at it, the more it kind of looks like that's what it is. So then I just added those and I started gluing them down exactly where they are. And I actually really liked how I always say this in my videos, just do it, just play. If something tells you to do something, don't fight it, just do it. If you don't like it, just don't glue it down. But don't be afraid to just do it. And so this may not be for everyone, but the more I look at it, the more I just really like how it just added some subtle pattern to the floor of my living room. And it does tie in with the gold on the baseboard and behind my stamp pictures on the wall. I really like this. And it's actually just coincidence that I didn't actually glue down the legs of the sofa. So I was able to tuck those pieces in, and so that was just pure luck. Otherwise, I probably would not have done this if I had glued those legs down. Just trim the little sides off, and that's that. I don't think I added any more bells and whistles to this. I like how this card turned out. I got to use my pink couch. Okay, card number 5. This is the pattern paper that I used for the floor. And I'm just going to glue that as my mat and tilt it to the side. So the green has been cut off, and now I'm just left with some pink and purple. If you have this card kit and you've seen what's in it, you can probably guess what I'm going to be putting on this card because it matches perfectly. And it's not in my video screen right now. You can't see it. I will pull it in later. That die is in the card kit, and I cut it out of the gold cardstock. I love it. I love that golden cardstock. I will not waste a single piece of that if I can help it. It just cuts beautifully. It looks beautiful. It shines amazing. I would love to get more of it, but like I said, it is pretty expensive to ship, so it's not really worth it. So what do? I just savor it, like savoring the most delicious piece of chocolate. You just don't waste it. It's like fine wine. You don't waste it. And so, yeah, I love it. I just love it. So anyways, I cut that piece out, and I'm using that as a focal piece, but not as the main. I'm going to have it kind of hidden behind other things. Once again, I am taking some stamps. There, like I said, there's a bunch of stamps in this card kit, or tickets, sorry. And you just find the ones that match the pattern paper. I put the pink one behind the purple mainly because I didn't want that purple to be on top of the purple stripe immediately. So just have a little bit of layering. These are what I was referring to. There are butterflies that match the strips really well. So there's a pink one, there's a blue one, and different colors. But these are relatively big, so I only needed to use 2. And then I just had them lining on top of the colors of the stripes underneath. Kind of like chameleon butterflies. When I have butterflies like this, I just tend to do that. I tend to make the butterflies the same color. Do you need to? No. You could actually have the green on the top and the purple on the bottom, and it would look just as nice. In fact, it would just create a different texture. It would just be kind of like if you were to have colors splattered, kind of breaking apart from each other. That's kind of what it would look like. I was trying to figure out if I can use that little butterfly. I didn't. I just decided to keep it the way it is, and that's the end of that card. Card number 6, once again, I am playing around with another piece of, it's not ephemera, it's chipboard stickers, but another big piece that I was drawn to, and I needed to figure out how I was going to do it. When it comes to pieces like this, off camera, and I should probably record this one day, but off camera, I just play around with all the different pieces and see what I like. So when I was first making this card, just laying the pieces down, it didn't turn out to be how the finished product looks, if that makes sense, if I said that right. I just keep adding pieces. So you'll see when I pull that down that I have that swan piece. That was an addition afterwards. So I had all this laid down, and I was just looking at it, and then I was like imagining if I was in this air balloon, what would I be looking at? And the swirls that I'm gluing down now just wasn't meaning anything. And then I looked through the pattern paper and saw this swan, the swan paper. And I figured, hey, I guess if you're like, you could be up in the sky going over a pond or a lake, and there's some swans swimming by. So I put that on the bottom right-hand corner, covering the pattern paper, just half and half. And then that's kind of just like, if you have your eyes kind of half blocked, you can only see like if something's blocking the view, let's say, that's kind of what I envisioned when I put this down. So you are just coming over a ridge or just starting to see the lake. And then you see all these swans just swimming by on this magical, weird blimp or a hot air balloon. I don't know. It's such a weird looking one, but I love it. I love that little piece. It's just so weird and fun. I took some more of these tickets because I guess you need tickets to ride this hot air balloon. And I just picked two colors that didn't match exactly to the pattern paper, but they kind of pull the different colors from the hot air balloon and the pattern paper. And then in the distance, there's another little hot air balloon that I added. I just really like to chipboard. I do glue them down because I don't trust that they'll stick. To finish off, I did cut some circles from the cardstock in the kit, the golden one. It's just the scraps. And I'm just putting those around the main focal point. And it's usually the same idea. It's usually like 3 on one side, 2 on another. That's typically how it goes. Unless it's a collage, I might do a little more and a little more sporadic. So that is this card. I lost track of which one we are. Oh, 6. Okay, number 7, I cut out some, using the die in the kit, I cut out some leaves using the gold paper, which was from my stash, and then the green cardstock in the kit. When it comes to these little dies, I don't necessarily take out all the little centerpieces. If they get stuck in there, sometimes I just leave it. It's just something different. Just like every leaf doesn't follow the same, they all look different, I decided to do it like that. So the gold ones, they all fell out, but some of the green ones, some are fully intact and some are not. So I just left them. I just like how that looks. Overall, this card is fairly simple, using some of the leftover of the swan paper and adding a gold strip down the side there just for separation. But once again, I'm going to allow the linen cardstock or linen base. The base. I'm sorry, tongue twister there. The card base is a linen texture. That's what I'm trying to say in my head. And I'm just going to let that show on the right-hand side there. And then I'm going to put some of these leaves as if they were falling down from a tree. Just imagine that they were falling from a tree, landing in this pond full of swans, just swimming around, doing what swans do. I'm not going to show you glue them down, but I will glue them all down with some liquid adhesive. Just remember that if all those pieces are stuck in there, just make sure you add a little bit of glue because you don't want them to pop out when you give that card to someone. So there we go. I'm just going to glue those all down, trying to save as much time as possible so that you're not just watching me glue. You know, that's one thing about this video is I really tried to knock this video down, but for some reason I still couldn't get it much less than 40 minutes. I couldn't figure what's different from this card kit video and the previous one, but maybe these cards were a little more in depth. I don't know. But that's why I like to add chapters to my videos. So just so you know, you can always skip all these videos and just jump to the ones you're interested in. I like to make it easy for you. So once again, I am using more of that swan paper. This is all from one sheet of paper so far. I don't usually use the second sheet of my pattern paper when making my 10 cards, as well as the gold piece of paper there is also the leftovers from one of the previous cards. What I'm trying to do is just, in the most awkward way, most challenging way, is try to add the strip of pattern paper on the gold paper so that when I put the swan down, it's going to line up perfectly. This is definitely not the best way, but that's just the way I ended up doing it. I will be doing something that I highly recommend you do not do. You'll see it flash on the screen. It's a reminder to me to remind you not to do what I did. and you'll see it shortly. But pretty much what it is do not add liquid glue to the pattern paper, the golden one. Because what happens is when you do it, you actually see every line of where you drew put that glue. I don't know why it does it so badly on this and not, there we go. Do not do this. Don't do this. You see exactly, when I turn it over, if you look really closely and pause it, you'll see where that glued that. And I was very unhappy with that. So it kind of bothered me the whole time, but I just try to find ways to hide it using ephemera and embellishments. But just use your tape that comes in the kit. If you don't have any left over, just try not to use any of your adhesive. Even if you're trying to be very careful, I think it's going to happen. You'll just see the lines. I think that the foil is what is the problem. It's too thin or something, and it's very susceptible to being embossed or dented. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I'm just trying to do a little bit of a different card, just playing around with the pieces that I have, and I wanted to center that gold strip in the middle of the triangle. And then I wanted to add a piece of leftover scrap, and that's that line. It's the same one I used for the wallpaper of the couch card. And then I just use that as a separation between the two pieces. Always looks nice when you separate two busy pieces of pattern paper. Now, just piling on some ephemera, as well as that die cut that I used on the green cardstock in the kit. There is no rhyme or rhythm for this card when it comes to my ephemera layering. I just grab pieces that match in color, and then I start layering. Sometimes when it comes to sentiments, I will try to find ones that kind of match. So in this case, it says love and laughter. And then I found a green one that says, it's so amazing. What's amazing? Loving and laughing. So that's kind of how it works. But it really doesn't matter. When I make my cards for Spellbinders, the only thing that's going through my head is I am wanting to make a note card. Not a birthday card, not a celebration card. It's a note card. I'm thinking of you card. Any day, anytime card. So that's why I love this kit so much, is because I can create these. It doesn't mean anything other than I have a card that I can write a message in and give it to someone just because. Because that's what we need more of in this world, is sending love to everyone. Everyone deserves it. Everyone needs it. No matter if they say it or not, everyone wants to be thought of. And so this is my drive for making these cards. I am very passionate of it. I will always be for it, and I'll always push it in the most gentle ways, such as in this video. And so that is just my method of madness when I'm working with these cards. To finish off, I am just going to add some of these little dots that are from the near cards, or gold cardstock from the kit. Just adding, these were just punched with my hole punch again. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, card number 9. I wanted to make another couch card. And this is not because I was thinking about it. I was just playing with this pattern paper with the hot air balloons in it. I'm like, this looks like another wallpaper. And it just one thing led to another, and it turned out to be another couch living room card. Sorry, I spoiled it, but hey, it is what it is. So If you don't want to see another card, another living room couch card, you can fast forward. But if you enjoy the laughing, you enjoy the silliness, just continue watching. This one's a good one. Okay, so I'm just going to take this pattern paper and mat it to a piece of the purple cardstock in the kit. Definitely a lot of beautiful purple shades in this card kit, and the pinks just match really well. These kits do tend, I've noticed it now, other than the very first one, which was the sea, beach themed, they do tend to be more on the pinkish, purplish tones. I have noticed that, but that's okay. I work with what I have, and I enjoy every minute. I love all colors, so to me, if you want to give me a purple card or a pink card, go at it. I mean, I love all colors, but definitely the not the stereotype, but I don't know what word I'm looking at. It's usually pink is for girls and blue is for boys. So we do call these more feminine cards. But I'm just going to create a purple floor. And you may have seen me kind of measure that stripe. Well, I decided to add a rug. And I'm not going to do a typical circle rug. I'm just going to be breaking the rule. Oh my goodness, I got a cut on my finger. I just noticed that. I don't remember. Oh, geez. Sorry about that. I just noticed that I had a cut on my finger. Weird. Okay, anyways, sidetracked. Sorry about that. I like to break the rules. I don't like symmetrical all the time. So I decided I'm going to take a piece of this pattern paper and I'm just going to create a triangle rug. You could call it retro, you can call it modern, you can call it a mess. You can call it whatever you want. I'm calling it a triangle rug, and it's just jutting out, and it looks awesome. I love it. And I'm just going to put that right in the center there, but it's not really in the center because of the way I cut it. I really like that. I don't know, something fun. Do something different. You know what you could also do to make it even more fun? Add a second one. Create a second one on the other side, and then you have like 2 layers of rug. That would be really cool too. I'm going to add a chandelier, which is not really, it's just a piece of ephemera that was cut in half, and it made it look like a gold chandelier hanging off in the corner there. I'm going to glue down my couch, and then to add some more of the ephemera, I will add a green tree slash fern slash leaf to the right hand side of that couch. And then I'm also going to add a typewriter. Why? Because it's pink. That is it. And it looked fun on the card when I put it down. When I was playing around, this is the combination I did. And then I grabbed the fabulous die, and I just loved it. I don't know what it is about this card, but it makes me so happy. I just love it. I love the colors. I love the shapes. I don't need to do anything more to it. I love it. End of story. And let's move on. Okay. So card number 10 is a showcasing of what I love to do that's also abstract. I always end up with a bunch of strips of paper and I never know what to do with them. So what I like to do is just add them to a card and see if they fit. If they don't, I throw them out. If they do, I do what I'm going to show you. And what that is just abstractly layering strips on the paper, but not letting it be the main focal point, but as decor. So there's the stripes that's left over from one of the previous card. The pink is from one of the striped pattern paper, and then the purple is a strip left of the purple cardstock on this pattern, or this card right here. Of course, I try not to have it go right on the card because I don't want to get lost. And then I really liked how that works. So I'm just going to try to carefully rearrange that back. And this is pretty tedious because they're such small strips. But I'm just going to try to remember where I put that, and I'm just going to lay them back down. It doesn't matter if it's exactly the way you wanted it. I like to crisscross them. Sometimes I like them just to be a little over, but you will never see me do it symmetrical. Well, I shouldn't say never. Rarely. Let's put it that way. Rarely. Just because I like it, with this style, I just like to have the different layers all over the place. But once again, I'm picking colors that are subtle and also are in the background. They're not going to be the main focal. I could, but not in this case. This case, I kind of wanted them to just be in the background. It's just a style that I like. Just adding a little bit of just different textures and sizes and such like that. That's all it is. And then for the ephemera, I am going to use this beautiful foil flower. It has it's purple and green, but it has this gold foil all over it. It's really pretty. And I put that in the corner there. I really like it. I think I kind of covered it a little too much when I'm done, but whatever. I can always make another one. You do get 2 of every die piece or ephemera. I'm going to prop up this circle. I actually had a circle that was just a little bit bigger than the ephemera, so that was perfect. That rarely happens. So I did that actually in the previous card too. It was a green one. And it's going to prop that up with some foam tape. The sentiment says, "You light up my life." Has a nice, beautiful chandelier, which actually was the inspiration of my previous card. That's what made me think of adding a chandelier to the top with another ephemera. Was this piece here? It made me think of it. Going to add some more little layers, ephemera. This is where I feel like it kind of got lost. There's no real separation. They're too similar, but still turned out pretty nicely. Add a butterfly to the top there. It looks really nice. And then I'm going to trim this down. And if you remember, I had a butterfly from one of the cards I didn't end up using. Well, I'm going to pull that in and add it to this card as well. I just thought it looked really cute on the bottom there. But before I glue that down, I'm going to add some more dots just to kind of fill in that little blank spot there. This is one of the hardest things I have when using solid plain cardstock, is that it looks to me a little bare when there's too much of it in some cases. So in this card, I just wanted to put a little bit of those little dots just to fill it in so it doesn't look so bare. You can always add little banners. That helps. Ephemera. In this case, I didn't want to add ephemera because it's all located on the left, and I didn't want to kind of make this card overloaded with ephemera. So I figured these little dots are just a perfect little way of doing it. And if you do it on both sides, then it all ties together, at least for me. So finish that. And then to finish this card off, I will just add this cute little butterfly over top of those strips. Love it. Really cute. That's my final card. So we'll just have a quick look over each one of these cards. And I really love it. You can see that some of the gold is a little different. As I mentioned before, I did have some gold cardstock in my stash. And the reason I was using it for this kit is because I do have a side business where I was cutting some gold paper, and I had so much left over, I just couldn't waste it. And it just looks really nice on some of these cards. So that is why there's the 2 different types. You guys can use whatever you want. So you don't need to use what's in the kit. I try to stick to it just so that you can get some inspiration with just one kit and not have to rely on anything else. I do hope you got some inspiration from this, got your imagination juices going. That's all I hope for, is just to get people creating and having some fun and hopefully smiling and embrace their happiness. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time, and I really appreciate you hanging around with me. So until the next time, have a great day and take care. Bye.